Here we go, we are going to have Doctorhuge against Zico. This is going to be a Zerg versus Pro. Oh my god, cop cars in the background. This is so hardcore. Alrighty. So, we have a yellow Zerg down here. I'm not really sure where this guy came from, just sort of grew out of the ground. But this is our yellow Zerg Doctorhuge, and up the top in the other corner of the Zelmaga Bat Caverns is Zico. So he's going to be the red Protoss up here. Cool map. I'm okay with this map. It is again a little bit difficult to do some sorts of fast expands, which I'm a bit of a favourite of, but it certainly still can be done. But what we're going to see here from Zico, interesting pylon position. That's kind of a little bit in the way of making a wall, but oh well, we'll see what happens. Probably still put a gateway there, and then a cybernetics core there. I don't know. Either way, yeah, this is a cool map. It's generally quite balanced, so we don't really see too many imbalances in this map. One thing where it can become a little bit troublesome is against the Terran. Terran puts up a command center here, converts it into a planetary fortress. You're in a lot of trouble because if you, it's really hard to actually get a good flank on that unless you have a massive sort of army and get in there and take it out. But obviously we've got a Zerg versus Protoss, so that's not going to matter too much. Interesting wall. If there is any Baneling shenanigans, this could be interesting because of course the Banelings can go straight into this pylon, just like a supply depot. I think it's is it four Banelings to take down a pylon, so this could be interesting. As we can see here, Doctorhuge is on the case, scouting around the base. As we can see, he's going to be just running around, checking out what's going on. We'll be able to see that this pylon's in a bit of an interesting spot. Takes his natural dose, so I would presume we're not going to see any sorts of Baneling rushes. And the gas and the spawning pool on the way, of course, as well. Zico scouting out does see that the spawning pool and the gas is on the way. Does not know about the hatchery at the natural just yet, but he's maybe able to assume that, given that the timing of the spawning pool and that sort of thing. And in fact, we're not actually going to see a wall off, so this is going to be interesting. Someone lagging. Anyway, yeah. Hudson check up with epic joke there. But the Cybercore not walling off at all, this could be very interesting because if Doctorhuge decides just to run straight through, he may be able to just, you know, run in and just get some speedlings and just lull to victory. But we'll see what happens. The simulator is now done. Not really sure what the plan is here from Zico, but we'll see what happens. He's going to be able to get rid of this scouting drone eventually. Problem is it is on patrol, so he's going to be able to run away from that zealous for a long, long time. And two queens on the way, so it looks like Doctorhuge isn't really going to take advantage of the fact that there's no proper wall here. And as we can see, a couple of gates going down. This may switch into some sort of attempted 3-gate sentry, maybe? Maybe. Nope. Although, you know, you could make the argument this is actually a wall here. He's certainly not going to get straight into the main. He actually has to go all the way around here to actually get inside. And the Zealot finally catching up with that drone, but he's not going to be able to get too far because the drone, as we said, is on patrol, and that makes it easy to walk around. Meanwhile, Queen pumping away at these hatcheries. Lair tech is on the way. I don't think this is going to be mutas. Usually you would have wanted to grab the second, third, and perhaps the fourth gas by now to get mutas. Perhaps, ooh, you know what this could be? This could actually be some sort of high economy, more of a high economy Kirik style, as they call it, Baneling bust. So he is grabbing the second gas now, not grabbing a third or a fourth just yet. Check out this sentry here, protected by two pylons, a cybernetics core and a gateway, so there's, you know, that is definitely not going to get into any trouble from any lings at least. Fourth gate is now done. This could be a sort of interesting version of a 4-gate. Problem he's going to have is if any Lings decide to counter-attack, he's going to have trouble holding them out of the base. And SC2 version of a shield battery, definitely would call it that. And as we can see, 4 gates are now done, so we may see a probe moving out with this force. Here it comes. Here's the placement probe, as I like to call them. Going to march down here, perhaps signifying that the 4 gate was coming, taking out that Ling. Perhaps would have wanted to sit back and let that guy survive, because as we can see, reaction from Doctorhuge is to put down 3 spine crawlers. This actually looks like a Korean game I just actually watched, where we have the spine crawlers over on this side, but actually there's a 4th one. Alright, so this should be alright. But the problem you have is with this sort of layout is that because there's the 2 entries into the natural expansion here, you have to sort of make a decision whether to spend money on these 4 spine crawlers or whether to put a couple in certain positions, because you can't really cover both places. So as we can see, pylon being built here by Zico. He is starting to move in here. There's a very decent portion of this army built up in the Zealots, so they're going to be able to whack away at the spine crawlers when they start poking. But if he morphs in some more Stalkers, he'll definitely be able to deal with a lot of it there. And here it comes. So we are going to have a 4-gate start, a lot of chrono boost sitting in there waiting to go, and it looks as if he'll start poking away at this base. The spine crawler is poking back. Hopefully it'll poke things in the eye, but he's going to need to be very careful with these Stalkers. Does not want to lose these Stalkers. Zealot's making mincemeat of those Zerglings that are running through. 2 Queens coming into the fight here. If he's got some energy, he may be able to transfuse, but the one with energy actually died. We do see some more Stalkers warping in here. We do see that the 4-gate is probably going to win this game for Zico, despite having the most interesting wall since the Great Wall of China. And there comes an Infestor trying to do what it can, taking out some of those Zealots. I think were dead there, but the Stalkers is still in action here, and they're going to be able to take out most of this here, I would assume. And the Infestor is just not enough to take care of all these Stalkers that were coming in here. More units warping in here from Zico, and he's going to take this one quite easily. Here we go, the natural expansion is going to go down. There are a few Zerglings going to be popping out here. Obviously, if you're a Zerg playing at home, the key things to keep in mind is to chuck down those spine crawlers, which Doctorhuge did, but then you just want to spam out a lot of Lings to make sure you can try and hold the Stalkers up, make sure they don't get into good positions. And unfortunately coming a little bit late here with these extra spine crawlers at the top of the ramp, and that is going to be it for Doctorhuge. Zico pulling out of the interestingly executed 4-gate. And that is going to be it, because now the forces are inside the base, like Indiana Jones in your Lost Temple. The Infestor going down, and there's the GG. So there we go. That was a little bit of an interesting one. I wouldn't really advise building it like this, but that was your average 4-gate, I suppose. So a bit unfortunate that Doctorhuge decided to those sorts of spine crawlers. Whilst I said they were decently placed, and obviously there were 4 of them, it's a little bit better to try and group them up, like where you actually have 1, 2, 3, sort of when they're in a line, and they can actually help sort of defend each other. That was the problem that he had, was Zico could actually come in from the side, take out 1, take out 2, 3, 4, and that was pretty much it from there.